now listening to Two Nerds and a Universe.
Welcome back to the pod. I'm Alex.
I'm Brandon.
And this is Two Nerds and Universe, where we do in-depth discussion of all things nerdy and give you opinions nobody asked for.
Today we have probably what's going to be a pretty heated debate or conversation, I should say, about arguably, admittedly, I should say, one of the most anticipated movies of 2026, that being Dune 3, for whatever reason. But before we start, getting all sweaty and stuff, this is a message from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Leal Insurance Services. Guessing your auto, home, and business coverage is not a strategy. Get reliable coverage, clear guidance, and real support at lealinsurance.com. And now, back to nerdiness.
And welcome back. All right. So, if you watched our last episode, last week we did a Spider-Man episode, which was fantastic. Definitely enjoyed that. I was able to get pretty nerdy with that, and I love that. But today, similar to that, we're going to be watching the trailer for Dune 3. You want to do the whole?
Yeah, it was off camera. They didn't see, but you already know.
There it is. So we'll be watching a trailer for Dune 3 first and giving our small thoughts on it, and then build off into a whole conversation about that. All right? So if you want to go ahead and start it. All right. Legendary. They wish. It's a good shot.
The whole world is beautiful.
Is this going to be like a flashback? Or would you come back every once in a while and be like, I'm so sorry.
Like her mother.
Life you could have had, buddy.
He's still gonna have it.
Naming him Leto, though, that's really nice. It's kind of like a Rob Stark sort of thing. We'll name your son Eddard.
Oh,
So sweet. Good director.
oh, the greatest chant.
Yeah. The fact that he dropped this trailer, not he,
And
but
that's his
they
voice.
dropped his trailer after he didn't get the
Oh yeah,
the
he didn't
Adam
get,
Award.
getting the Oscars. Oh, dude, and one of the golds,
Yeah, right?
Robert Pattinson,
Edward Cullen?
his sister.
What sort of fighting is this, though? What in the world is this?
The battle
Put your
scenes
sword
are
up.
so epic.
How did Father do it? Your father never started a war.
Oh my goodness,
You're a bad
man.
guy. Dude, everybody's bald in these movies.
Visually, it makes me gasp.
There was one guy with the beard and they killed him. There he is.
Oh, Duncan. Oh, dude. Another one of his walks.
It was a mean mugging.
But I must not die.
Zendaya, you think it'll come down to those two, a little Padme Anakin moment?
It's better.
I'm about to say, you see how I had to...
Film for IMAX.
Yeah, you know what? You did say that. We just recently watched this movie, what's the...
Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary, thank you. And you brought up a really good point, that being that if you're watching a movie that is in space, then you need to go to an IMAX theater.
Yeah.
For that.
As long as it's filmed right and from a production standpoint, if you are trying to give visually what space is, it has to be IMAX, because where else can you actually get the full depth of what space is visually? I can't get that at any. I have to watch that in IMAX.
In Project Hail Mary, there's a whole bunch of greens, whole bunch of reds, whole bunch of crazy wild colors, right? And that you would find in space. And they did a really good job with that. So I'm certainly interested to sort of see what that theater has to do or shows Dune 3. Dune 3's typically been or Dune 3, Dune, the trilogy so far has shown some really wide shots and good colors, good pop.
Yeah, no,
pop.
amazing.
I'm trying to say colors pop.
Yeah, no.
quite well.
I do want to highlight this too because I think this is pretty important to highlight. We as a society love MCU, right? We consume MCU like crazy. If you look at top 5 grossing movies of all time, I'm pretty sure Endgame and Infinity War are on there, along with the 3 Avatars, I think. You would think that if you're doing a continuation of the MCU leading up to a movie like Doomsday, no other movie would compete with Doomsday, right? Because you would think, hey, that is a pinnacle, another one of these foundations of the MCU.
For sure.
So many people are going to watch that. Do you find it crazy that there's rumors of Disney trying to move its release date to a different weekend? So it's not... so it doesn't release the same weekend as Dune?
So
because
to answer your
Dune
question,
3 has all the IMAX windows. There's not going to be an IMAX for Doomsday.
I see what you're saying, and there's something to be said about that. The fact that you're relatively a brand new, player on the board,
Compared to Avengers and MCU.
Compared to Marvel in general, yeah. But to that, I would say that has more to do with recent failures by Disney than the recent success of Dune.
So do you think Doomsday will pass $1 billion in the box office?
I do. I think it's too big to fail in regards to that. There's still going to be a lot of people that go. It could have been a lot more. There's a lot of people there's more people than you think who are sitting here saying with a straight face that the Marvel Cinematic Universe ended with Endgame. Period. Like that's where I stopped watching. Everything after that was awful. Whatever. I don't really believe that. I think there's definitely a couple of gems that were dropped. Obviously, they dropped the ball hard with a lot of other movies and projects that they tried. They just ended up going nowhere. And I find it difficult to believe that the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general is going to be able to intertwine all these storylines back together. Don't really think it's going to happen. I think they're 10 years, 20 years down the line, we're going to look back and like, Hercules? He was a post-credit scene or something like that, So that'll be that's something that we kind of have to think about in regards to the success of Dune in regards to theaters rather than Dune being awesome. It's probably has something to do with
the failures of Marvel rather than Dune itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think rightfully so, Dune earned those IMAX showings.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no better movie visually. I mean, you could highlight very many things. Independently, I like to highlight visually. It's stunning. It looks amazing. Seeing that on IMAX is what the theater is for. Like, if you want to go watch a movie and you want to get that theater standpoint, when I sit there and I'm like, okay, hey, what is a movie? Ideally, a movie I'd want to see in theaters, right, with the theater experience.
Yep.
And then IMAX. I think of Dune and I'm like, yeah, that's the type of movie that I want to watch, that I want to see.
It's not going to be something. Not going to be something like Doomsday? Stop.
No.
Yeah, Doomsday is that's something that a family would sit there and say like,
You'd rather watch Doomsday?
I would rather watch Doomsday in theaters than on my couch with popcorn or something like that. They go to theaters to watch something as monumental as Doomsday on the big screen.
Yeah, but
I could watch Dune 3 on my couch.
No, you cannot.
I could watch Dune 3 on my phone hidden at work.
No, you're full of it. No, so you'd rather watch Doomsday in IMAX as opposed to Dune 3.
Look, I mentioned it before. Space movies in general are best watched in theaters on IMAX, just so you can get the full experience of like all the colors that pop, just as they should.
The absence of colors, the absolute darkness.
I do put a like a little comma, except for Dune. I don't care about Dune.
No,
I don't care whether or not I see that in theaters or not.
The issue with Doomsday is there's no build up. There's no build up to Doomsday. When you had a build up for Thanos, you had it from Avengers 1 that came out in 2012, where he was the end credit. So you knew he was there. You knew that that's what we were going to get to eventually.
Yep.
It was a perfect build up. Movies all accumulated together to give you that. Now, that's not the case. You pull Doomsday last second, there's no build up to it like there is Dune. So, no, and rightfully so, I don't think anybody can look at me with a straight face and say I'd rather watch Doomsday on IMAX over Dune 3. There's no way, especially as much as you are a consumer of the medium. There's no way. I think you're just forcing your hatred because you choose to hate Dune. I think that's more forced.
There's nothing to force about it, man. I do think that it's overrated. It's primarily paint, and
You don't think
know
it's beautiful?
It's definitely beautiful. It's good paint. It's good paint, but it's just paint. That's all it is.
Okay. Well, while we're gonna talk about this, because it's visually stunning, I'd like to put a video up while we talk, just to get the audience to kind of visually see what we're referring to when we're talking about the shots of Dune. So we're gonna play that while we talk as well. The scenes are beautiful. I'm gonna get back to what you're saying as far as paint, because I want to know what you do think is paint when it comes to Dune. Because when I see paint, or when you refer to something as paint, you're referring to it as, hey, you see a wall, it's got messed up drywall, it's kind of cracking. Oh, here, let's put a little bit of putty, let's paint it red, problem fixed, right? That's essentially kind of what.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to explain what paint is to somebody. You could talk to anybody on the street and sit here and say, it's just paint. There's not much that needs to go into that. I mean, you don't have to sit here and explain nonverbal communication, verbal communication, and implied communication.
It just looks beautiful. Look at the movie. It's just like it's when people refer to motion art, that's what this is. Every single scene is a beautifully painted
really
and
cool.
constructed canvas that you just need to sit. Look at that. Doesn't that look excellent?
Yeah, a lot of these things look like they're the background of your your computer home screen,
like
or
a
something
desktop
like that.
background.
A desktop background or something like that.
So you had said that you think Dune is paint.
Yeah.
So do go into a little bit about that. What is paint about Dune? I've heard you say Star Wars 7, 8, and 9, right? That's paint. Visually, it looks great. But there's a lot to hate about 7, 8, 9, the sequels of Star Wars.
The story itself, brother.
The story itself of Dune, you think is paint.
Yes, absolutely. You look at something like
That's stupid.
it's a weird chuckle.
No, that's
right there.
dumb.
That's a pretty fair statement.
Do you disagree that this is the greatest piece of science fiction ever written? Are you really
Is it
trying to think?
considered science fiction? I'm not sure it's considered science
It
fiction.
is science fiction.
It's science fantasy.
No, that's Star Wars.
Science fantasy is considered. Star Wars is considered science fantasy because of something like the Force.
No, but there's much
right?
more to fantasy.
Everything else about it. I mean,
there's
you
so
have
much
AI robots that follow you around. You got ships. You got blasters. You got
there's more to
a lightsaber in
there's
general.
aliens. There's different species.
Aliens.
There's hundreds of different.
All those
species.
things aren't fantastical. I mean, aren't fiction.
It's not science fiction.
What are those? All those things are not fantastical. What is fantastical about something like Star Wars is the Force. It's a magical sort of thing. What do you have with Dune? You have the voice, right? Which is essentially the exact same thing as the Force.
No, the Force is the exact same
It's
thing.
essentially the exact same thing as the Force.
No.
Look at Star Wars 4.
No.
These are not the droids you're looking for. It's basically the voice right there,
Does
just
my-
with less stuff.
Does my dad
Or
look like
the Force has more stuff than the voice.
Does my say for instance in a world I look like my dad? Does my dad look like me or do I look like my dad?
That's not the same thing.
No, I'm asking. Answer the question.
That's not the same thing.
How?
The dad of Star Wars is George Lucas. The dad of
Wait.
Dune is
Just let's
Frank Herbert.
just say for the sake of the argument that Star Wars is science fiction, which it's not, but let's just say for the sake of the argument it is. The grandfather of science fiction is Dune. That is written by Frank Herbert, released long before Star Wars. So if you want to talk about the grandfather of science fiction, The Force was heavily influenced by the voice that was written by the novel that Frank Herbert gave you. So that's completely incorrect. In this same idea, if I were to look like my dad, I look like my dad. My dad does not look like me.
you're way off.
How?
Star Trek would be considered the grandfather of all science fiction, and you know
we're
it.
not talking about.
Okay,
we're not
but
sitting here
we're
talking
sitting here
about Star
talking
Trek.
about something. Going back to your original question of what's been the most impactful science fiction thing. Obviously, it's going to be Star Trek. All right, now this whole episode's not going to be about Star Trek, but certainly
well,
Star
I did
Trek
say novel.
beats.
I did say novel. From a novel standpoint, yeah, it 100% is Dune. Dune is widely regarded as the pillar one of the pillars of science fiction novels of all time.
I can't sit here and deny it.
No,
I
you
mean,
can't because you're not. You can't.
Obviously,
deny it.
it's one of the three, right? Again, I could argue that the science fiction and science fantasy right there. I can argue that Dune deserves its place with Star Wars as science fantasy. But if we're going to sit here and
It's
bring
not fantasy,
if we're going to
because-
sit here and bring Dune into science fiction, then we're
It
going to
is
have
science
then we're going to
fiction.
have to bring Star Wars, which is science fantasy, into
No,
this
just
as well.
because of the voice and the Force.
That's what makes it fantastical.
Okay,
Yes.
so what about from an alien extraterrestrial standpoint? That's everywhere in Star Wars. In Dune, it's not. There's human.
There's aliens in Dune.
Okay, where? Show me.
It's
In any
the
of the
what are
movies?
they called? The Merkin. You know what I'm
Harkonnens?
talking. Who am I talking about?
The Space Guilders.
Thank you. Yes.
Those are engineered humans. They are humans. The foundation of them is human. They're just genetically engineered to
All right, this is ridiculous. Look, what is the thing
So-
that he rides? What's the thing that he rides?
a worm.
Yeah.
Sandworm.
Yes.
What about it?
Where's that on Earth?
Oh, we don't have them on.
We don't have them
we
on
don't
Earth.
have them on our
That's an
planet.
alien. It's an alien. You're gonna sit here and like I wanted to sit here and bring up the those guys. If you want to sit here
the Space Guilders?
and dissect that as best you can, as if we're like technically it's not an alien. Technically it's an advanced human. We
It's
have a
a-
space worm, buddy. That's an alien. We have aliens in Dune.
okay.
There's aliens in Dune. It's pretty in there, ingrained in
It's-
the story.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. For the sake of the argument, I want to get to a lot more of the Dune story too. I don't particularly think Dune is science fantasy. I think there is an element to it that closely relates to even us, how we are now, and this is kind of a story of us in the future, kind of thing. I see that a
With
little
the
bit.
voice? How can anybody get the voice? How's that evolutionary based?
I mean,
What is the voice? Will you explain that real quick?
Well, the voice is something that you acquire, that you learn, that comes from the Bene Gesserit. It's like a secret society of women behind the curtain that is dictating every move politically, religiously, everything. That they're the ones in the background that came up with the voice, and that's basically, if you've seen a lot of movies, you've probably seen it first with Star Wars and the Force, when you're able to alter somebody's mind into making them do what you want them to do. That is essentially the voice.
Just without force push, without force lightning. So
it
force is cooler than the voice, is what you're
No,
saying.
not at all.
That's your words.
No,
not
because
mine.
even then, like when you're watching part one, if you don't have the force down, you're just gonna do something and nothing happens, and you're just gonna sit there and look stupid. The great thing that I think about Dune
No,
is
they
that
won't.
no, yeah, see, that's dumb. And then when you see it from Dune, I mean, even in part one, when he tells his mom to give me the water, it's distorted and it's delayed. So even when his mouth moves and says, give me the water, it takes like 3 seconds for the audio to come as well. So it even looks great. It sounds great that you even see like, hey, he doesn't have this down. If I don't have the force down, I just don't have the force down. You know what I mean? But from visually and from an audio standpoint, it sounded and it looked great, even in this one when he talks about it. Do you disagree?
Well, I'm still confused on how. Well, to be fair to you, no, I don't disagree. I do not disagree, but I'm still confused. To go back a little bit on how you feel something like The Voice is not fantasy rooted and is something that human beings on an evolutionary level can get to. That's the main difference between science fantasy and science fiction, correct? It's that science fantasy, at our best, we can't, from this point on, billions of years in the future, will never be to that degree, because that's the force right there. That's shooting fire out of your hand, you know? Like, okay, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But science fiction is something that can happen billions of years. That's Star Trek right there. Billions of years into the future. That could potentially happen.
The correct thing is that science fiction is grounded in scientific possibilities, whereas fantasy blends technical elements with supernatural, magical,
For sure.
or impossible elements.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was trying to get at right there. And I can bow down to the fact that something like Star Wars would be science fantasy. Science fiction, though, because of that definition, I can't sit here and put Dune into science fiction.
I mean, I think there's some elements that are going to be thrown in there, right? Because this is the future. I mean, this is supposed to take place like thousands of years after us. So, I mean, this might be something that you could say, hey, humans have been able to evolve and do something like this. Not every human can do it. This is something that you do have to learn. It even shows it in all the Dune movies. Not just everybody can do the voice. And a large part is due to the Bene Gesserit. Very specific, because not every human does it. It's literally applies to the Bene Gesserit. So this is something that is learned and acquired. It's not just something every human can do.
But they're born with it, right? Same as midichlorians and Jedi?
No.
Force users?
No. Well, they do like selective breeding where they specifically breed certain people together to get certain humans and create a lineage. But it's not like, hey, you're just born to being able to use the voice. Like when Paul Atreides was born, he couldn't just use the voice. Even when he was 15, 16 in part 1, he still had to learn how to do it. So it's not like it's not like a midichlorian count in your body. You're just born with it and you got the force. It's something that's learned. Anybody can learn how to use the voice as long as you've been rooted in it from, a young age, or you've been doing it for so long, been around it, that you learn to acquire it. It's not just something that you're just born with.
Okay.
But as far as that, real quick, I do want to point out that out of all the movie experiences I've ever had when it comes to my favorites, I could sit here and tell you Iron Man 2008 was one of the best movie experiences ever. As a kid seeing it at the 10 years old, I was amazed, like I just saw the greatest thing, right? Transformers that came out, Optimus Prime, right? When he said, "I am Optimus Prime," and everybody clapped, I was sitting there like, man, this is amazing to see. You know what I mean?
am Optimus Prime.
There's so many there's so many movies that you can say, hey, that is the reason why I do this, right? Why I love going to the movies.
Movies like Transformers, movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, movies like
Not Pirates of the Caribbean.
What?
Not Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right,
That's another episode.
What?
That's another
Davy
episode.
Jones playing the piano with his face?
That's another episode. But Dune Part 2, literally sitting there watching this movie in IMAX. I'm blown away. I'm blown away that I just saw the greatest motion art I could ever watch, and it made me want to cry. I was like, dude, hey,
Because of how long it was?
it's no, and that's also something too that people hate the pacing of these movies. Do you hate the pacing?
I do hate
Dune
the
1
pacing.
and Dune 2?
Both movies. I looked up my phone mid-movies. Like, is this still going on? The pacing is definitely off. Maybe you can argue that I've been spoiled by modern movies, but if it works, why mess with it? All right? We've been perfecting the pacing of movies for the past 100 years. And for somebody to go against the grain like
Do you not think
Villanueva?
Yeah, Denis.
Okay.
Do you not think that Dune is a complex story that has layers and layers?
No. Well, I mean, I don't want to say no, but I was going to wait a little bit longer to bring this up, but that kind of segues into one of my biggest gripes about the movie. I can appreciate that something like Dune is supposed to have layers upon layers of
It's not supposed to,
complexity,
because it does.
right? But something like the movie, when I've watched both of the movies, I end up leaving it not as learned. I don't know. I don't walk away from the movie just knowing it. I watch something like Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, and I can recognize Luke Skywalker. You know, that's the name, Luke Skywalker. I can't remember. I know Paul Muad'Dib Atreides because he shouted it very, very loud in Dune 2, and it's something that's Paul pops up all the time. I don't remember. Look at me. I don't remember anybody else's name by heart. I have to look it up every single time. Every time.
Okay. That
That's
was your
awful.
spiel.
Yeah,
that
so,
was your spiel.
Okay,
first of all,
I gave it a little bit of pause just to add a little bit of a mic drop moment right there.
It didn't work. It didn't work. So let me say.
But that's what the complexity that is supposed to be there certainly isn't. While I'm sure it is there, the average watcher isn't going to be able to watch something like Dune 1 and Dune 2 and walk away understanding the complexities of it, like you would with Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, and the complexities of the Death Star, the complexities of the second Death Star, the complexities of the Empire trying to kidnap Luke. I mean, like.
Oh, okay, so first, lot you said there that was completely false. You don't watch Dune 1 and Dune 2 and sit here and say, there's nothing complex about this. It's just boring. Like, there's nothing boring about this. This is an entire world building, is it not? There's so much to get into and to unpack. And where it's trying to get you to in Dune 3, you're supposed to feel so much emotionally towards Paul Atreides, right? Towards Stilgar, towards Leto Atreides, right? There's so many great characters in here that you're supposed to feel something when something happens, right? The stakes have to be high. I can't just make the stakes high without building this world, right? It takes patience to build this world. I'm giving you a world that I have to develop political scandals that are going on right behind the scenes. Geologically, I have to give you entire worlds that look beautiful, and I can't just do that in 5 minutes, right? I have to tell you, I have to build up resources, right? Spice. I have to let you understand how important spice is, and it's the most valuable resource in this world. There's so much stuff that Harkonnens. Right, I have to develop the difference, the dynamic between Harkonnens and Atreides. There's so much that I have to develop. I can't do that if you don't give me the time to do that.
Do you think they do? You said they do a good job.
They do an amazing job at it.
Why? I know why, because I do this stuff. Like I research this stuff personally. But do you think most people are going to leave Dune 1 and understand why there was a half man, half worm type dude?
Who's half man, half worm?
What? Say again?
Paul Atreides' grandson.
Are you saying like in the future of the movie? In the futures? Or are you saying like in the current movie?
The main guy he was trying to beat in Dune 1, why he had that big old fucking, excuse me, let's bleep
are you talking
that out.
about
big old
Vladimir Harkonnen?
Yes, the main antagonist in Dune 1.
Yeah, the Harkonnen, Vladimir Harkonnen,
All right,
the Baron.
You know how he was like ridiculously humongous?
That's his robe.
It's his long ass robe.
Yeah, it's an artistic choice to make him look like he's much bigger than anybody else. It's an artistic choice. He's not a worm.
I understand he's not a worm.
His robe. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are displeasing to look at when it comes to him, right? He's not just fat. Like in actual lore, he was cursed by the Reverend Mother, and it was a disease of why he looks the way he is, how he's fat.
I don't remember them talking about that at all.
That's deep lore.
That's deep lore?
That's lore. When it comes to like Star Wars, hey, I don't want to hear it because when it comes to Star Wars, you talked about comics and Qui-Gon. At least I'm not referring to comics. I'm talking about.
Well, that's kind of my point, isn't it? I mean, there's certain things you just I had to ignore and just trek on when it came to Dune 1 and Dune 2.
Nobody looked at.
But with Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, I didn't have to go into comics. That's what I love about Star Wars in general. You can watch Star Wars 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, and 3 and
7, 8, 9.
They made 7, 8, 9?
Don't do that.
I don't remember that.
Don't do that.
But you can watch all 6 of the movies from beginning to end, and that could be it. That was it for me for the longest time. And then as I got older, I'm like, you know what? I really love Star Wars. What more is there to learn about it? And that's when I got into the comics. That's when I got into the video games. That's when I got into the TV shows.
Do you think this world of Dune is ending after part 3?
I don't think it's ending, but I know that with 4, 5, and 6, I didn't need all this extra stuff in order for me to enjoy Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 by itself. I love, as a nerd, I can go into extra stuff. I can go into the deep lore, and that's fantastic. But 4, 5, and 6 for the average watcher, for somebody like your son and your daughter, I mean, they can watch that. Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 and understand it, comprehend it, get it. It's a good guy versus bad guy sort of situation. Once you go into the deep lore of it as a nerd, you sit there and understand, like, oh, so this is like the 9/11 attack. The attack on the Death Star is like the 9/11 attack in the eyes of the majority of the citizens. So the rebels kind of look like bad guys in the eyes of the citizens. That's why the Empire is able to still kind of be in charge while still being jerks about pretty much everything. You go into the complexities of it, like, oh, I understand all this now. That makes it so much more complex, makes it so much more fun.
But there's nothing complex about good versus evil. It's just, it's good versus evil. But that's the thing that I like about Dune, is that you're not sitting there looking at Paul Muad'Dib Atreides and you're like, yeah, it's good versus evil. There's so much complexity to his character because morally he's conflicted because he wants to avenge his father, but at the same time he doesn't want to because he knows that billions of people are gonna die, and he's cursed with dreams of seeing Chani dead, and he has the power to change it if he were to go south. The entire movie is just amazing because he's sitting there saying, I don't want the power, and people are saying, oh, because you're gonna and Gurney tells him,
because you lose control?
Because you lose control, and he says,
I gain it.
Because I gain it. So it's a a messianic figure that doesn't want the power because he knows what's going to happen when he gains that power, right? It's so much more complex than good versus evil.
Of course. And that was, I was going to segue into that a little bit later on, but I mean, since you're bringing it up now.
We can talk about it.
Well, I'm pretty sure you've heard this before, but somebody like George
Lucas, George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, so like somebody like Tolkien, all right, World War One, ended up, going through that, and what came out of that was something like Lord of the Rings. All right, you get a classic good versus evil. Tolkien, if you didn't know, I'm sure you do, but if you didn't know, actually hated Dune. He thought it was too complex and too morally like gray for it to be. For something that for him to like, I should say. Not that he would make an assumption based off of all readers or all fans and whatnot, but for him himself, he's like, I don't really like Dune because of it's morally gray. Somebody like Frank Herbert and George R. R. Martin with Game of Thrones, they thrive off of making worlds where good is bad. You look at our own world in World War II. Both of those people, they lived and went through World War II. And you look at fascism utilizing something as innocent and as awesome as Beethoven to do their marches for the Austrian painter. I mean, they're just walking around doing that and committing horrible atrocities, but utilizing art in order to give them justification in the eyes of the public. So at this point, you're looking at people who seem to be good who are also doing evil, and that sort of inspires George R. R. Martin and Frank Herbert to create the worlds that they create in regards to there are these good people who are about to do horrible things and behind the scenes. So, and don't get me wrong, something like Game of Thrones, something like Dune, it can be entertaining to watch.
Absolutely entertaining.
But I would say that complexity can be a hindrance and a disadvantage for, like I said, for the average watcher. If they want their shows to be far more impactful than for the average person, then I would sit here and say that keeping the complexity black and white instead of gray, and then like Star Wars does, with added lore and in-depth research on the stuff. Like, oh, it's far more complicated than I expected. Dang, this is going to be so awesome to really dive into. So, long-winded way of saying that Star Wars is better than Dune.
Yeah, but it's just the only thing that it seems like Dune represents us better, right? Because to society and to us now, it's not just black and white, right? Like there is gray area. It's not always as simple as good versus evil. What might be good for our country might not be good for another country, right? What is deemed evil to another country might not be evil to our country. You know what I mean? There's so many things that dictate what is good, what is evil. It's not just as simple as the term good and evil. That's something that you feel conflicted with the entire time when you're watching Dune. I was so conflicted because I love Paul Atreides. I love Paul Atreides, right? I love the story of Dune. And you're sitting there and he tells you, hey, lead them to paradise, and you're like, yes, right? Like he did exactly what he said he's gonna do. And then you're also conflicted because you're like, man, he's about to kill billions of people, and it's like, man, do I love him? Do I hate him? It's kind of another one of those things that I thoroughly enjoy about a complex character like that. Same reason why I like Eren Yeager. Same reason why I like Anakin Skywalker. Because it's not just good and evil. There's so much more to it. That's what I appreciate Dune. That's what I appreciate about the world as a whole, is because it seems like it's a parable to our parable, right? That's yeah. Seems like it is a parable to our society.
Or a metaphor.
And exactly how the problems that religion can have on an entire world of a messianic figure and you awaiting their return, and everything you do in your entire life is predicated upon that specific figure, right? That's what Chani, even in the movie, is trying to get people to understand when she says this prophecy is how they enslave us. And there's multiple moments in the movie where she's sitting there verbally saying, I don't believe in that. I believe in our people, right? Like I fight for my people. I like that it closely relates to even us as a world, how she even tells him, hey, Stilgar is from the South. You couldn't tell? Those are Southern beliefs, right? That's also cool because that shows how even us as a nation, how the North might differ from the South, right? Not trying to cause separation, but it's widely known that there is certain views, right? Even predating to our history, even as America, right? North and South, there was different beliefs. So I like that from a geological standpoint, they are separated, whether it is religious beliefs or political beliefs or anything. They see things differently. That closely relates to our society, does it not?
Kind of, yeah.
That's what there's so much stuff of Dune to like, but the parables are so close to us. They're so close to how a secret society is hidden in the back, and they're the ones pulling the strings behind the curtains. Do we not, as a society, sit here and say, man, you know what? I guarantee you there's some people in government and there's some higher ups that are pulling some strings in the back that we don't know about. Yeah, of course, that's how you get the conspiracy theories of who's pulling the strings or who's running our world or who's running our government or who's running our country.
I have no doubt that all this stuff plays a role inside of Dune, all right? I am sure that the soul of Dune is a really good story, you know? But so far, up to what we've got right now, 1984, the 2000s Children of Dune, even the current TV show of Dune, Dune 1 and 2, they've had all this time to work on this, and it hasn't landed. Not the same way that Star Wars.
For you.
Not the same way with as Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 has been able to do.
Okay, so you're saying because they didn't have 10 out of 10 projects every single time, it means it didn't land, right? Because you said 1984 Dune. First of all, this is a readaptation of the story. You don't have to watch 1984 Dune to watch these movies.
Why?
Because this is a readaptation. It's not a sequel. It's a readaptation of the story.
I get it. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And on top of that, you're gonna say, "Hey, 1984 Dune is terrible, right? It didn't land and all that." You literally believe Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 don't exist.
They don't. They never made them.
So I'm telling you, hey, ignore one project, right? Because there's a readaptation that came out. That's a better way for you to watch it.
It's just paint, brother.
Okay,
I'm sure
what's
there's
paint?
somebody out there right now who will, just with a straight face, tell you that Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 is the best Star Wars project that we've ever had. Everything else is just so boring or whatever, right? That's what's going on right now with you and Dune 1 and 2.
Okay, so what is paint about Dune 1 and 2? Visually, it's not paint, right?
Yes, it is paint.
No. Okay, well, let's
That's
go
the
through this real quick.
definition of it.
No, let's
I
go
mean-
through this real quick. From a visual standpoint, it's exceptional, right?
Sure.
From
Star Wars 8, they went to this planet in Star Wars 8 to save some llamas and whatnot. And the planet looked fantastic. I was in the theater like, wow, this is really, really good.
Okay, so what's the issue?
I'm not going to sit here and make Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 canon because of nice pictures.
It is canon.
It's
You
not
just
canon.
hate on it. But
It's not canon.
that's aside from that. What do you take issue with when Star Wars 7, 8, and 9?
The fact that
the
it just
direction, the story,
yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
Okay.
Destroys everything about Star Wars 1 through 6.
Okay, that's fine. You would be alone on an island saying the story and the epic that is Dune is didn't land.
It's not as effective. I mean, I've never said that it's a. Well, I have. I kind of do agree with it.
Say with your chest. Whatever you agree with, say it.
It's not. It's overrated, man.
How?
This movie, Star Wars 1 and 2, are overrated. I can think
Star
of.
Wars 1 and 2 are overrated.
Oh, my bad. Excuse me.
No, I agree. I agree. Star Wars 1 and 2 are overrated.
Star Wars 1 and 2 are not overrated.
I think if you're talking about.
I still to this day watch Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and
No,
Obi-Wan.
it's good. Okay, so what if somebody in return tells you it's just paint, it's just lightsabers?
not
Because
just-
when Star Wars doesn't have lightsabers, people don't watch it as much.
What do you mean if Star Wars doesn't have lightsabers, people don't watch it as much?
You just repeated exactly what I said. Yes, I
what do
stand
you
by
mean?
that. Why does
I mean-
everybody
Why do
everybody
people
take
watch
issues?
Dune? I mean, if you
It doesn't need lightsabers for you to watch Dune and enjoy Dune. I'd argue that even the
so
battle
give me
scenes,
one reason to watch Dune then.
the
What's the lightsaber
story,
for
the
Dune?
epic.
I mean, like
you don't need a lightsaber.
You take away the complexity of the apparent complexity of politics. Take that away. People are still watching Dune. I mean, like people want a Game of Thrones
There's so much
type of thing. Don't sit there and say that people took away lightsabers. People wouldn't want to watch Star Wars when that's like kind of the core of it. It's Jedi versus Sith. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, of course. But when it comes to
are you saying that like if you replace lightsabers with like swords, people wouldn't watch it? Yes, they would.
no, they wouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely, they would.
You
yes.
think people would still watch? No, lightsabers are exactly what grabs everybody attention. You being able to dictate the color.
It's
If I just
certainly
run
you
around with a purple
dictate
sword,
the color, what they're changing it like a flashlight or something like that.
No,
It's
because if
based
you're
off of
evil,
their own based off of
'cause
their own ability.
if you're evil, you have a red lightsaber. If you're good, you don't have a red. You could have green. You could have yellow. You could have blue.
Based off of the connection to the Force,
You could
sure,
have
yep.
purple. Okay, if you had a sword and you're just running around with the purple sword and it doesn't just retract and,
No,
and
stop.
all that, it would look whack, would it not?
You sound so dumb right now.
How?
Absolutely, 100%. If you were to place, not that this would ever happen, because lightsabers are synonymous with Star Wars. It's iconic with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the way it goes. It's one of the many great things about the Star Wars franchise. But 100%, if you were to replace it with normal iron sword, steel swords, people would still watch it. All right, it's still fantastic to sit here and jump over people, to sit here and use a double-bladed thing against somebody, or a weapon against somebody else. Obviously, people still watch samurai movies and knight movies and like medieval knight movies and all that stuff. Obviously, it's fun. Obviously, it's fun.
Yeah, it's good. So then you would ask me, oh, hey, what do you consume when you watch Dune? Then,
That's
right?
that's not paint in regards to Star Wars. In regards to Dune, obviously, if you want to get a good interpretation of what Dune would look like and be like, once you take the paint away, just look at Dune 1984. We already had our back-to-back. We already had our Star Wars versus Dune back in the 70s and 80s, and obviously Star Wars won 100 times over.
Okay.
1984 definitely
that's fair.
failed
We didn't-
miserably. Take away the paint, and the story fails. The soul is probably good, but everything else about it sucks.
Okay, so 100% 1984. I wouldn't sit here and tell you if you're a consumer of Dune, watch 1984. It's the best. It's not. It's not going to scratch that itch because technologically, they just couldn't do what requires. What is required to give you what Dune is, right? To completely immerse yourself in this world. I can't do that when I'm limited technologically.
So you require the paint in order for you to look good.
No,
for you
because
to be good.
there's so much more to it than just visuals. Do you think that's all it is visuals?
When I talk about paint, yeah, that's part of it, yeah.
Okay, well the sounds.
Dune,
First of all,
Dune,
Hans Zimmer's score for the movie, you don't think is amazing?
Yeah, of course, Zimmer's fantastic. He does a great job.
Yeah. So not only that is in here as well. What I feel like everybody, I don't want to say everybody because this is you are on the island, don't understand is that this is the most successful science fiction novel. When you're reading a novel, it's not visuals. You don't hear sound when you read a book. You're getting the story. That is all you get from the book. if this is the most successful science fiction novel ever written, that the story has to work, does it not?
You knew about the novel before Dune 1 came out in the 2000.
Well, I wouldn't say that I didn't, because I'm not an avid book reader.
Not that successive.
So
then.
just because I didn't hear of a book, that means that it's not.
If you're going to use it as ammo, then
I'm
it better
just
be
telling-
effective.
No, it clearly was effective, because it's literally the foundation of science fiction. It's literally one of the foundations of science fiction novels.
Star Trek.
Just because I didn't, but Star Trek is visual media. It's not like a novel that people sit here.
Star Trek is
read.
everything. It's movies, it's TV shows, it's books,
It can,
it's
and I
comics.
agree. But what I'm talking about is the story itself of Dune. The story itself was loved and regarded by a lot of people. Hence, why it is a movie.
When you think of nerds, you think of Star Wars and you think of Star Trek. You don't think of Dune.
Well, because those mediums, those movies and TV shows have existed for a long time, as opposed to Dune. Dune is technically a late bloomer when it comes to motion pictures, and not because Star Trek has been there since like the
60s?
60s, 70s, 80s. Yeah, and it's just, you had Dune, one project in 1984. Right, it came out, I think, in 1969, I think is when he released it, or late 60s.
Okay.
So you think about it from that time all the way to 19?
I think, that sounds about right.
One project that has come out.
Well, no, incorrect. You have 1984. You have the 2000 TV show Children of Dune with John McAvoy.
Okay, I didn't watch.
That's one of his first opening.
Children of Dune. I know
for John McAvoy, that's one of his first hit roles.
The book Children of Dune, for a TV show, I did not watch a TV show. And
Obviously, it didn't do too well if
that's fine. So then,
don't know about it.
Okay,
and
so
there's
then,
a current TV show going on now, and of course there's Dune. That's at 2019. So the TV show going on now happened after the Dune.
So then you
Fun.
think that the only reason these movies are being enjoyed is just because visually they're stunning. There's nothing else about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about the story that throws you off?
What?
What is it about the story that throws you off?
I find not that this is any indicator of the actors themselves. Obviously,
well, they're
Timothy
star-studded
Chalamet.
actors.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, even on top of that too, the actors that they chose to put in these movies. I'm sorry, my mind is going just because you're ridiculous when it comes to your ideas of Dune.
Blame it on me.
The star-studded cast in Dune is amazing. I don't think you can point to any Star Wars movie and you convince me that it has better actors than here. So, I mean, Paul Atreides, Timothy Chalamet, right? You have Zendaya. You have Stilgar, who is Javier Bardem, Oscar Isaac. Dude, there's a Jason Momoa as them, Josh Brolin, Skarsgård as the Baron, and then obviously in part 2 you have he played Elvis. What's his name?
Shoot. Butler. Austin Butler.
No, Austin Butler. Gerard Butler. That's how you got there. Austin Butler. Batista in here, right? Like there's dude, the cast is ridiculous. Star Wars is not even touching the cast, first of all. So if you want to talk about it from an acting standpoint, Star Wars is nowhere near the acting of Dune alone. I understand Harrison Ford, right? You'll grab Harrison Ford and you'll say, hey, Harrison Ford, right? If I think of Star Wars and I'm thinking about the best actor from 4, 5, and 6, I'm not sitting there and thinking anything else other than Harrison Ford.
Not Mark Hamill at all.
You think Mark Hamill is a better actor than Harrison Ford?
I would sit here and say that a lot of people that you named a second ago for Dune 1 and 2, they've been in some home run movies before and since, right? Fantastic. Outside of somebody like Harrison Ford, there's not like a crazy amount of actors that are in, that leave their, after 4, 5, and 6 that have done like really amazing, crazy roles, unless you're like a nerd and whatnot. It's kind of a rare unicorn type moment when you sit there and say, oh, that's Mark Hamill right there. Like, oh, that's Carrie Fisher or whatever. I know in Scream 3, I was watching the movie and then I'm like, oh, that's Carrie Fisher. She's in Star Wars. It's kind of like a unicorn. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that after watching Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, I'm still talking about Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill.
Well,
And
because you're you are a more than average Star Wars fan. Like you are one of the very few Star Wars fans that hold it in the highest regard over pretty much any story, right? So I understand why you would say that, but you can't go to anybody and say, hey, who's the most, let's see. If I were to tell you, name me an actor from the original Star Wars, people are probably going to say Harrison Ford. Why? Because Harrison Ford became a movie star, right? Not even just, he's Han Solo while he's Indiana Jones. That's nuts, right? You're both of them. When it comes to Dune, how many movie stars do you see in Dune?
a lot of them, and that's a lot.
Wait, okay. Well, let me say this. I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to challenge that real
because you
quick.
have to use it. Kind of works in my favor in regards to paint.
No.
Because you bring in these star-studded casts and like, oh, now I have to watch it.
One, the actors are better.
You sit there and watch Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, and you hear Harrison Ford, and that's pretty much it. And you're like, okay. Mark Hamill wasn't a thing before that time. Carrie Fisher, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't a thing before that time either.
That's fine. Even if you say that. I'm going to challenge this idea that
I guess Ben Kenobi was. He was kind of a draw as well.
I'm going to challenge this idea that every actor is a movie star. Not every actor is a movie star. True. Josh Brolin is not a star in Hollywood. He comes in a movie. It's not like, oh, hey, Josh Brolin is in it. Let's go watch it. Mm-hmm. Oscar Isaac, same thing. Oscar Isaac, let's go watch it. Like, not every actor is a star in Hollywood, right? Harrison Ford is a star, right? Get off my plane. Indiana Jones, Air Force One, he is a star. Mark Hamill is not a movie star. Harrison Ford is. Do you see the difference?
No, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, when it comes to
we're not disrespecting Mark Hamill, the Joker.
No. I mean, yes, I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, Mark Hamill's nothing. He led Star Wars, right? So he's a lot of something. He's
the voice of the Joker. He's successful. He's successful.
But not everybody are movie stars. So even when it comes to Dune, I would say that there is two movie stars that I think are movie stars. That's Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. I don't sit here and think Oscar Isaac's a movie star. I don't sit here and think Josh Brolin is a movie star. I just like that this is led by two stars of Dune.
I was going to say that Star Wars kind of made stars. Like, you know all these people from Star Wars. Like, I think Christian, what's the main character? Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah. Christian Haydenson?
Yes.
And he was in Jumper.
Jumper, yeah.
Right? And then you'd be like, oh shit, that's Anakin.
That's Anakin.
Yeah.
With Dune, they kind of take the stardom from all those actors to build the movie. If that makes sense.
That's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, it kind of works in my favor that all these the star-studded cast of Dune is a draw to watch. Not the only draw. I'll admit, not the only draw, but a draw to watch Dune. Whereas with something like Star Wars, you had Harrison Ford and you had I'm forgetting his name, Alec Guinness.
Samuel Jackson from the first prequels.
Yeah, all these people were draws to the movie, but afterwards, everybody else that was in the movie became amazing stars afterwards. It was a household name at that point. Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Hayden Christensen.
So then it's a knockoff to Dune because they got actors that are already known rather than getting actors that are unknown.
Yes. Yeah. It's far more impressive to do that, by the way. Far more impressive to be a successful movie off of relatively no-name actors than it is to become a successful movie with name actors.
You can't just say every movie that has a star-studded cast, it's just paint. Because there's movies that have star-studded casts and that were terrible.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fair.
But that's not Dune. Clearly, that's not Dune. They think it's so good that Oscar for Oscars, it's neck and neck with Lord of the Rings. So clearly that they're doing something right. If you are in that same level of movies and I don't want to say science fiction, obviously, because Lord of the Rings is not science fiction, but it's like it's a fiction, right? If you talk about fictional projects, Dune is highly regarded as being up there with Lord of the Rings, being up there with Star Wars. Right, so it's doing something.
All because of Dune 1 and 2 right now, from 2019 and onward.
Okay, but that's what's coming out now. That's what we are watching, and that's what looks beautiful. If it didn't look beautiful, why are they giving that Dune 3 all the IMAX screenings and none to Avengers Doomsday? Why is it that Disney is literally considering moving Doomsday just so they can have a moment in IMAX.
There's nothing to do with Dune. Everything to do with their own failures versus an average movie.
No, that's a lame pull just to say, hey, you know what? It's not because Dune's good. It's because we did bad.
Yes.
It's like, hey, if I won the game, did I win or did they lose kind of thing? That's dumb. No,
it's
there's
not
a
dumb.
whole element to it.
You as a sports fan ought to know that there's sometimes when it gets a little too
No,
close.
I've literally
when there's a
heard-
game that gets a little too close, and you're sitting here saying it's not because the Lakers were bad or it's not because give me another. The Celtics were bad or great this year. It's because the Lakers were bad this year.
No. I've literally heard games where it's like, hey, Cowboys just beat the Commanders, and it's like, did Cowboys win or did Commanders lose? That
not a lame
sounds
pull.
stupid.
It's not a lame pull. That's an obvious. That's a fair assessment when it comes to competitions.
Okay, so
If I didn't work on my bet, if I'm sick when we're facing each other, I still win. By the way, but you get it's a 49 to 48. I don't know why it would ever be that close number wise, but if it's that or 50 versus 48, then that's not an indicator of how great you were. It's an indicator of how bad I was. So I wasn't playing defense. I wasn't really good on my shots.
It does. I don't even think it. I don't even think Avengers Doomsday has anything to do with their recent failures of projects that they released. You're still gonna go watch it because it's Avengers, it's Doomsday, and Robert Downey Jr. is back. You don't think everybody is extremely excited to go watch Avengers Doomsday?
Some people.
No, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason,
oh yeah. Sorry, my bad. You said just to watch Doomsday. Not. I'm sorry. I in my head heard to watch Robert Downey Jr.
Oh no. To watch Robert Downey Jr. Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
people are. Most people I feel are sitting there listening about Doomsday and thinking like that's a lame pull. I don't know if anybody that's sitting there saying that's a great pull. I
Yeah.
can see that. That's awesome.
No, well, you're gonna
terrible.
go watch it because for
Avengers
all
Doomsday.
those reasons, for all those variables, it's Avengers Doomsday. We're gonna go watch it. Fantastic Four they brought, right? Mutants, they're coming in, right? The Fox mutants. There's our childhood all coming together. Everybody is gonna watch it. That movie is gonna cross $1 billion. I guarantee it. They know it. Everybody knows it. But for some reason, some odd reason to you, Dune is getting all those IMAX screenings versus Doomsday.
I don't think
But
we're
that's a
in the
testament.
minority when we sit here and say. I mean, it's great that you told me. I learned it from you very recently, but at the same time
About the IMAX screenings.
Yes, I think that's a very common thing for a lot of people to hear who consistently go to movies. At least I don't know. I feel you watch space movies at IMAX because of the color spot. You know, I may have just been late to the party. I'm sure that's got to be a huge reason why.
Just because this movie is space,
Oriented,
that's why.
yep.
So if Project Hail Mary came out at the same time as Doomsday, you think Doomsday would be scared?
I 100% would rather watch Project Hail Mary. I think the visuals that we saw with Project Hail
They're
Mary
great.
is going to be so much
You want
better
to know
than
something?
Dune.
Project Hail Mary's visuals were great. I think that scene when he's on top of the he's on top of the ship
And watching
and
Adrian.
watching it go through him. That was beautiful. Beautiful scene. It's still not even touching Dune. That's the crazy part about it. If you talk about visually Project Hail Mary being a 10 compared to Dune, it's like a 6. It's not touching Dune. If Project Hail Mary came out the same weekend of Doomsday, it would not. Doomsday would not think about moving its its release date, because Doomsday would dominate IMAX screenings over Project Hail Mary, even though Project Hail Mary is space.
Probably going to be a lot better of a movie.
Yeah, Dune specific.
I'm excited for Doomsday, but Project Hail Mary is probably going to be a lot more better of a movie than
Doomsday?
Yeah, after watching Project Hail Mary, not to make this segment about that, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I mean, like, you sit here and talk about Dune in regards to that. If it's 6 more, I do feel right now that Dune 3 is going to be more successful than Doomsday. I don't like that. I don't think that's because Dune is just
I don't think so.
So great. You really don't think so?
No, I don't think so, because I think there's so much more Marvel consumers, right? Like, there's so many families that have been watching Marvel for the past 18 years. So they're gonna go watch a Marvel movie, right? I think the tough thing about Dune is you don't just sit there and say, "Oh, I gotta go watch that movie. I gotta watch the movie." If you're an avid movie consumer, you're going to, right? Because that's what we do. We talk about movies all the time. We're gonna go watch Dune. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, Dune is so boring. It drags. It's all this and that," right? Like everybody sounds like Shikamaru, such a drag. I don't know if you're a Naruto fan, but you sit there and you're just like, "No, I'm so bored," right? Like it's not action packed. It's not thrilling. And you're sitting there and you're like, well, this isn't supposed to be that. If you want to watch that, go watch John Wick, right? Because the story of John Wick, I'm just using that as an example, right? You go watch John Wick and you're captivated because every scene is an action scene. Looks so great, right? As far as the combatic aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you watch Dune,
It's the best part of the movie.
of what?
Of John Wick is the combatives.
Yeah. That's literally
It's
it.
what you leave remembering. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, but
the entire
Dune-
movie's that. So yeah.
But Dune is a much more patient approach because I have to, like I said earlier, right? I have to develop this story for you that you can emotionally connect to. But I want you to visually see the scenes that we put together because these scenes are exceptional. I don't want to just do a quick camera showing you 2 seconds of a scene that looks astonishing and hey, we're going to switch and we're going to go to the next scene. Like, give it the time to really
You don't need
absorb and
25
soak in.
minutes per scene,
They've never
man.
showed you 25 minutes
Every
of a full scene.
Villanueva shot that you get is going to be incredibly large, incredibly long-based landscape-wise,
Yeah, it's
which is fantastic. It's great. You see that in Arrival. You see that in Sicario. You see that in
Blade
Dune.
Runner 2049.
Yeah, exactly. He's good at what he does, right? In an industry where everybody's trying to be to the top, the fact that
He separates himself.
He does. He goes against the grain, and that's an interesting approach. Kudos to him in regards to that. But that's everybody's biggest gripe against him in regards to that. It's the reason why people argue that Dune, the series in general, like the franchise, is just so the pacing is off. It's because of those Villanueva shots. It's because it takes 10 minutes to look at a desert landscape.
It does not
It's
take
beautiful. You don't need to be there. I'm being facetious when I say 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be there for a long period of time.
What's a long period of time? Because if I show you a scene that's 5 to 7 seconds, that's not a overuse of that time.
I thought Tatooine looked fantastic in 4. All right, and 6. I thought that Yavin 4 looked fantastic in 4 of Star Wars. All right? I thought Bespin looked fantastic in Star Wars 5.
That's fine. You're talking about
George Lucas didn't spend like forever on those scenes.
Yeah, because it wasn't that beautiful to show you.
They were beautiful.
Tatooine and Arrakis, you think it looks the same?
No, obviously there's a little bit of paint involved in regards to Dune.
God, you and paint.
It's
Everything
just
has
paint.
to be paint.
It's
Everything
just
has to be
paint.
paint just because you don't think it's that good. Because
Name one time that I've told a modern movie was fantastic and paint wasn't like a factor in it.
no, you do say paint a lot.
I know I'd say paint a lot. It's like my catchphrase at this point.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand why
And
everything
I'm not
has to be
against
paint.
modern movies utilizing modern technology to make movies that much more entertaining to watch. I'm not against it. But if that's your movie, which is what Dune looks like to me,
you're the only one
then
that says.
it's not good.
You're the
you gotta
only-
be able to stand on your own 2 feet and add the paint to it.
Okay, assuming that Dune doesn't have a great story, which it does, right? Sonically doesn't sound amazing, which it does. Then you would say the only thing that's paint is visuals. There's so much more to it.
It's 85% visuals to me. Everything else about it, the storytelling, everything else about it. There's a couple of good acting scenes. You see that in Dune 2. Obviously, that Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis, and silence and all this. It's interesting, right? I'm like, ooh, that's good. Everything else about the movie sucked, at least in regards to act. I mean, I won't say it sucked acting wise, but it certainly wasn't. I'm saying it's overhyped, is what I'm trying to point. I'm being a little flustered with it, and I apologize. I'm not going to sit here and say that the acting was terrible, because obviously it's a star-studded cast for a reason.
Yeah, the acting is
all these
amazing.
actors are fantastic for a reason. There's nothing wrong with them. In general, they did the best with what they could with the direction they were given. But the best that they could in regards to this, paint aside, is going to be just a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. At best, a 7 out of 10.
So you think the story is a 7 out of 10?
6 out of 10.
The story
The story
of Paul Atreides
is a
a
6
6
out of
out of
10.
10.
Yeah.
That's so disrespectful. That's disrespectful to one of the greatest novels ever written, and that's why? But what Anakin's storyline and everything that has to do with Anakin, what is that? Scale 1 to 10.
It's a 9, bro.
That's so biased. That sounds ridiculous, does it not?
No, it isn't.
You're talking about the complexity.
It's fantastic,
okay,
man.
let me ask you this.
He was a slave on Tatooine. I mean, he was too old to be a Jedi, and it all comes together.
So the complexity of a
he
fallen
was a
hero,
war hero.
you think?
He got
okay.
into it. He's arrogant. Everybody else dislikes him and distrusts him.
Okay, so the complexity of a fallen hero is great when it comes to Anakin Skywalker. Aaron Yeager, what would you say? 1 out of 10.
10.
Okay, and Paul Atreides.
6.
That's so stupid to say. Is that not?
I don't know anything about Aaron Yeager. Let me ask you this: was Star Wars only written for movies? Like originally, when it was first written, was it only for a movie?
Yes.
Or was it a book?
Oh, like Star Wars 4?
Yeah,
Sure.
Like, yeah, if
was for a
if
movie.
you're asking if like Star Wars 4 was supposed to be a standalone movie, that's it. Wasn't supposed to branch off into TV shows or
Movie,
comics or other
books
stuff.
or anything, yeah.
For sure. Actually, no. Pause. I take it back. I didn't. No. George Lucas already had all of this story in his own head. He had been building it his entire life. I think there's even stories of him talking about it. How he was talking about this stuff in middle school and high school. This is stuff he loves to do. He himself was building this universe and this story forever. All right, where he wanted to culminate this inside of one movie. All right, but of course, with the way that things were, and as successful as Star Wars 4 was, it ended up like, okay, well then let's build off on this. Now, hey, I mentioned to throw away Clone Wars. Let's do that. Let's do it's all built up.
Okay, so the only reason I'm saying that is because Dune has 24 books.
Yeah, it's 24 books in Dune, yes.
Yeah, there's 24 books in Dune. The story is complex as fuck.
Yeah.
But Star Wars is very straightforward. It's more digestible than Dune.
Well, the only thing that everyone gets caught up in Star Wars, and solely just that, is the Skywalker saga. And you've even pointed out how you don't like that. How you wish that they branched out into more stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Than
There's
just
so
that.
much more than the Skywalker saga, for sure.
No, absolutely.
Somebody like Disney, if they cared about making money, they could have just left the Skywalker saga alone, all right, and gone before
Knights
that
of the
point.
Old Republic.
Or if nothing else, could have just taken George Lucas. The whole point, I'm going to give you $4 billion, George Lucas. In addition, you're also going to help me as an executive producer finish up your story, and we're all going to make a lot of money. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great for everybody. And George Lucas was like, okay, fine, let's do that. Then they ended up becoming like, hey, you're an executive producer for Star Wars 7, and he's like, okay, this is what I think should happen. This is what I think should happen. It's like, but this is my movie. This is my story now. So you can stay there, and we'll put you in the credits. But for the most part, I'm not really going to respect the fact that this is your story. We're not finishing up your story. I'm going to twist it to make it my story. Disney sucks, all right, for what they did with Star Wars.
Yes, but also too
they could have finished that off and then branched off to many other storylines, the Star Wars universe is absolutely phenomenal, and there's so much to write about it.
It is. That is just as equally as Dune. The whole world is amazing. There's a lot of content to get into.
Can you imagine if they ever did sorry, can I nerd out with you just for
Go ahead, what were you gonna
pause real quick?
What?
Oh my gosh, dude, the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, literally
could you
said Knights of the Old
imagine if they did the Knights of the Old Republic? Just the video games themselves. They do trailers every once in a while.
Yeah, so what about the whole
Knights of the Old Republic? And they're so amazing.
Yeah.
Disney, just hire them. They'll
Okay,
make the movie for you. You'll get the reward. It's fantastic.
Let me ask you something about the Knights of the Old Republic. If they gave you a live adaptation of Knights of the Old Republic in the 80s,
I'd watch it 100%. In the 80s?
you think it would be
Yes.
it would be
100%.
just as good?
Are we also assuming that George Lucas is involved in this? Is the 80s, or are we going to sit here and say
George
that?
Lucas is involved.
Yes,
You don't think they would do?
100%. I'm watching
you don't
Star
think
Wars:
they
Knights
would
of the
do
Old
Knights of
Republic.
the Old Republic better now? They wouldn't do it justice better now.
With the modern technology that they have here, they can definitely make the movie far more entertaining.
Okay, so what
Absolutely.
if somebody
But
tells
that
you
doesn't-
that's just paint because it's
I just
modern
said it would make it
technology?
more entertaining. Paint makes things more entertaining. It doesn't make it the story. All right, I'd 100% watch a 1980s Knights of the Old Republic movie.
Yeah, but you applying the idea of something that just looks visually good is painting. It's like, it's not painting because that's what it is at this day and age. That is the new norm. The new norm is to have movies look beautiful, How many movies do you watch now that are like, man, this looks really good?
Well, that's been the norm since the beginning of time, since the beginning of storytelling. You're trying to make movies or stories in general that much more digestible. So paint helps it. This is so, kids don't eat paint, all right? But paint helps things be more digestible, metaphorically speaking, all right? So yeah, movies, of course, add more paint to it to make it look more visually appealing, to make the storytelling better. But that's what it does. It makes it better.
Okay.
It doesn't make the storytelling.
Okay, so then in that case,
So in 1980s,
wasn't CGI
movie 100% I'd watch.
wasn't CGI a breakthrough in the 2000s?
yeah, and they had to work on trying to make it good. It was a what are you trying? It's like a experiment for everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so then what about 99% of Star Wars Clone Wars being CGI? Can somebody easily tell you, hey, Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 wasn't good because they just threw CGI in your face? It's just
At
fake.
that time, everybody thought that CGI was the next big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
George Lucas was just trying to get ahead of that. He's like, okay, well, if everybody's going to be wanting CGI in all of their movies, I want Star Wars Attack of the Clones to be, the best. So, I'm going to make this, instead of building all these sets, I'm going to use the money that I've been given right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to invest that inside of CGI since that's the craze right now. It's the way it was. It was an experiment for everybody.
Okay,
Star
so
Wars wasn't the only movie that
so
suffered from too much CGI.
Okay, well, no, I agree. But what I'm saying is,
But that is considered paint for sure. And guess what? Despite that paint, despite the fact that he was wrong in the fact that too much CGI, not a thing. All right,
It
Star
is
Wars
a
Attack
thing.
on the Clone is still a fantastic movie, and I still enjoy it. The fight scene between Count Dooku and Yoda, didn't see that one coming. That's fantastic. I mean, the little green guy from Empire Strikes Back, that dude was a warrior. I understand that, but now I get to see that.
Yeah.
That's a payoff right there. I didn't even know I wanted. That's fantastic. Yes. Even beyond the fight scenes, the storytelling itself is still really good. I still enjoy seeing the beginnings of a rebellion happening.
and do you not see that in Dune? That is the essence of Dune.
It's far more digestible with Attack of the Clones than it is with Dune 1.
But the
2.
story has already existed from
Not
like
to mention, it makes sense, man.
Dune doesn't make sense.
No, yeah. How are we gonna sit here and say that the Fremen are able to provide a threat to empires outside of their? I mean, that's like.
You go fight.
I'm not trying to get political,
You
but
go
it's like
fight.
us
You go fight
attacking-
Russia in the winter in Russia.
The Fremen are not like Russia. Fremen are like Iran.
No. My point is they're.
It's a smaller force taking on a bigger force.
What I'm talking about is you have to attack them in their terrain. You can't just survive in their terrain.
Yeah, when we're attacking them, for sure, there's something to be. There's a defense thing to be had, and up until Dune 1. That's what was going on, right? There was a bigger force encroaching on a smaller force's home. So it's a tale as old as time. There's a little bit of dogfighting going on. There's a little bit of I'm gonna attack you and then run away. And we're gonna make what we're attacking. How we, the smaller force, are gonna win is we're going to make this more too financially troublesome for you.
Yeah.
So eventually you just leave, and now we won. That's great. That's what it's again. The story is as old as time. Now they're taking the fight to them. How does a smaller force take a fight to the bigger force?
Well, they're not just gonna abandon Arrakis, right? There's more to the entire story of Dune than just the planet Arrakis itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is where the spice is. That is the most important resource in their world. So yeah, it's gonna take place on Arrakis. That is.
So they're not. His empire isn't.
Well, the Empire is more grand than just one planet, right? But that is the most sought after planet. Like everybody wants to control spice, right? Who controls spice controls all. Power over spice, power over all. It even tells you in the beginning of the movie. Where was I going with that? Oh yes, so. It's not just like hey, now the Fremen are gonna leave and they're gonna go elsewhere, and now they're still elite fighters. They're some of the best fighters in the whole galactic empire. The
Really?
Yeah, the king had the Cardasaur. It's his what am I getting at? Man, we've been talking about so much. The Cardasaur is his like guard. For the king himself, and those are known as the most elite fighters in the galaxy. When Paul and the Fremen were coming onto the ship, and you see the Cardasaur, they got ready, they started marching into the smoke, and you just see the Fremen come out like nothing.
That's not
It's
the same
supposed
thing.
to
That
show
doesn't make
you-
them the best fighters ever. It's
They
us
are some of the best
attacking
fighters.
them on their own ground. I mean,
They're not in the. They're not in the
guerrilla
sand.
warfare is successful because you know as the guerrilla force, you understand your land better than the enemy does.
Yes. So when they were boarding the ship, they fought them there. They didn't fight them. Oh, hey, here, you follow us real quick onto our onto our sand. They fought in that smoke going through the ship to meet the emperor. So no, the Fremen are widely seen as some of the greatest fighters.
It gives them a little bit of aid
in their
regards to that.
galaxy or
They're
in the
still an outnumbered.
galactic empire, in their cosmos, right? They are considered one of the best fighters. Sand aside, you give one of them a weapon and have them fight a Harkonnen, they're gonna beat a Harkonnen easily. But because they are elite fighters, that is who they are, and they use their terrain as an advantage. So good luck attacking them on their soil because it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be successful. And you saw even with Batista. I just see him and I think Batista or Drax. I don't see anything
every
else.
time.
But yeah, they're not even touching them. It's a flea that destroys the dog, right? Because it's just irritating you, and that's why even in the end he was like, "Oh, good old fashioned artillery." It's like, no shit. You didn't think to blow up their rock to begin with that it would do something. We throw water on ants all the time, and it gets the problem solved.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that honestly I kind of any gripe I have with the movie is when the Baron is talking to Fade Roth, Austin Butler, and he's like, "Good old fashioned artillery," like, "Oh yeah, like that's good," and it's like, you didn't think about that before, like.
They've been a thorn in your side this entire
Batista
time.
literally did that in the beginning of the movie. So it's like, it's kind of like, why is that just a thing now? Is it just because your favorite nephew did it? Now it's cool. So that's the only gripe I have. And that's literally the only gripe I have in the whole movie. If you don't like Dune, you're just not patient enough to let that world get built. There's so much layers to that world. I can't just give you that in 20 minutes. I need to build that world, sit there, shut up, enjoy the movie, let it build, because part 3 would be so much better. It's like if I tell you, hey, go watch Naruto Shippuden, but don't watch Naruto. It's like, hey, you know what? Naruto, in comparison to Naruto Shippuden, is a little bit more boring. But you won't develop a bond and an emotional connection to these characters if you just jumped into Shippuden. You have to let that build for yourself in order to fully understand Naruto Shippuden. If I'm trying to I don't want to say spoilers, but if
it's been 30 years.
it's been a long time. But if characters sit there and die, it hurts you so much more because you watch them in Shippuden. I mean, you watch them in original Naruto from what they were. That's the same thing with Dune. Once I hear him saying their entire complex relationship from the Atreides and the Harkonnen, right? For him to find out in the future, I am Harkonnen. That's like, that's just a straight knife to the gut. Because it's like, we've been fighting with them our entire lives. Now I find out I'm one of them. So, hey, that's complex. You saw that and you're like, oh shit.
That's not as impactful as
You're gonna say,
hated Darth
I'm your
Vader my
father.
entire the Empire's been awful my entire life. In Star Wars 4, it's like I don't like the Empire.
I'm not
I hate
comparing it to the
and now he's the
catchphrases.
son of it. I mean,
I'm not comparing
it's
it to
a
the-
lot 100% worse.
Yeah, I'm not comparing it to the catchphrases, because catchphrases, yes, Star Wars does have that.
Beyond just the catchphrase, "No, I am your father." There's also the fact that you are my father. You're the Empire personified at this point, because they don't really talk too much about the Emperor at this point. So I mean, and I'm your son. That's 100% worse.
I see Star Wars and I think I am your father, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, if I'm comparing dialogue and the dialogue of the movie, that's the word I'm looking for. We've been going on so long about this, but the writing of the movie, the screenplay. I don't sit here compare this to Star Wars and think, man, Star Wars 4, right? Star Wars 4 and 5. Oh, it's just written so much better than this. No, because this was clearly written first, and it was so successful that the story is there. Just watch it, fully immerse yourself in it, because it's an epic story that it's just amazing to put on screen, but two, to be the consumer of it. I'm so excited for Dune 3. I think the whole world is. I think there's a reason why Disney is scared to release it at the same time that Dune is, because I mean, I'm not sold that this movie is gonna do that good compared to Dune 3.
I want to watch Dune 3. My biggest draw for the movie, you know what? Let's say that, okay? You know, best part, worst part, you know, forces us to see the other side. The best part of this trailer, or rather of Dune 3, is for me is going to be just seeing how much of an impact him being an emperor, or like being this rebel leader is gonna have, because it was definitely harped on a lot during Dune 2. We never ever got to see it in Dune 1984, so this is new territory for it. They really can't mess it up. Nobody can sit here and say, "Oh, 1984 did it better" or something like that. Yeah, your box, your sandbox. Do with it what you will. Fantastic. Can't wait to see what the effects of all this is gonna be. Especially, like I mentioned before, how a smaller force is going to be able to get up the upper hand on a much, much, much larger force. We're talking about a galactic scale here, so I'll be interested to sort of see that. Worst part, it's Dune 3, so I mean, I gotta watch another. I gotta drink some caffeine before I watch it.
Oh yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Do you not watch Star Wars and at any moment think, hey, there's some bad things to Star Wars, like there's some negative effects?
Absolutely.
Okay, and what is
it's
that?
the early 2000s, way too much CGI. It's the way it is. It was an experiment, but yeah, it doesn't make it, just because I understand it doesn't make it better. I mean, it's still awful.
But you'll
I wish you didn't do that.
Yeah, but you'll move right past it.
100% I will. I can forgive it.
And then the same thing that you say that's just paint for Dune, you can't move past.
Dune only has paint.
No, that's
Take away the paint in Star Wars Attack of the Clones, which is arguably one of the worst Star Wars movies out there. It's still a good movie.
Yeah, but that's your idea. You are the only one that thinks Dune is it looks cool and nothing else. You're the only one that says the story isn't good when the story is the only reason the movies were made to begin with. So, no, that's completely incorrect. And as far as Star Wars, I love Star Wars. I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like I don't like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. We're talking about an entire franchise that 3 movies you hate. Every Star Wars fan hates 3 movies. You hate 33% of the movies that have come out for
Are you talking about
Star
7,
Wars.
8, and 9?
Yes, isn't that?
People keep talking about that. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's so lame.
It's a movie that's
33% of the
paint.
movies that just came out that pertain to the Skywalker saga, you deem.
It was Disney's cash grab. How can you sit there as a fan of Star Wars and consider it as Star Wars? That's all it was to them. Or if they just followed George Lucas's plan, you paid them $4 billion for it. I mean, get your money's worth, get it back. I mean, I guess technically they did. Disney's too big to fail.
They did. But you didn't think there was anything good about 7, 8, and 9?
Not one darn thing. Take away the paint.
You don't think Kylo Ren was dope?
If he's the best part of the trilogy, that's not saying much.
Okay, well, Kylo Ren was...
Like, my favorite part of the Dune trilogy so far has just been the end credits. So, I mean...
So dumb.
That doesn't mean I like
hope
Dune.
people crap on you in the comments, because you're the only person I've ever heard to say Dune is just paint. It's not that good. I was waiting for the end credits the whole time.
I'm not the only person out there.
There's not a lot of people that think
this is a call to all true nerds out there. You have to have. I can't be the only one.
You are the only one.
I cannot. I've made some sense here. Certainly, I've made some sense here to you people. Take away the paint. What is there?
A story, a beautiful story that's so complex. That's layers on layers.
Was the story? I don't want to say I'm not trying to say that everybody's it's got to be dumbed down or anything like that. But was the story good enough that the average movie watcher can watch it and walk away from it understanding this is this character,
well, the average
this is this character, this is this empire, this is why these people are good, this is why these people are bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think so.
Okay, well, you're comparing that to A New Hope that's been out for, what, 40-something years, 50-something years? I'm not doing the math in my head, but yeah, whatever. Star Wars is established. There's so much lore that you can watch from a movie from movie standpoint. All this is already registered in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Dune is in the early stages. So yeah, naturally, I'm not going to have the same... You're not going to remember everything that you do for Dune like you do for Star Wars because it's been out for so many years. The movies, right? Not the book, but the movies have been out for so long. Of course you know Jedis. Of course you know Sith. Of course you know Palpatine. Of course, all these guys, of course you know them because it's been out for so long already. Dune just came out. Like... Just because not an average movie person can tell you everything about Dune, everything about the families, everything about the Bene Gesserit, that automatically means it's not good just because I don't remember. There's so many people that go watch movies, leave the movie, and can't even name you 3 actors from the movie or the characters themselves from the movie.
Everybody recognizes actors from previous movies.
Themselves. If I were to tell you what's a random movie that just came out, Scream 7. If I were to tell you name 3 people from Scream 7.
I wish you wouldn't use Scream 7.
Well, I'm just bringing up an example.
Like,
Project Hail Mary. If I were to tell you name 3 people, it's tough because 2 people was pretty much the entire movie.
That's a hard one to do as well because of that.
I'm trying to think of a movie that came out recently that we want to go watch. Man.
Bone Temple.
Okay, have you seen Bone Temple?
Yeah.
Okay, can you name a couple characters from Bone Temple?
I wasn't expecting a pop quiz right now.
Oh,
but
can you name? No. We want to go watch Send Help. Can you name 3 characters from Send Help?
Which again, the majority of the movie was 2 people.
So I'm supposed to disqualify Dune because I don't remember names or I don't remember a bunch of stuff about the movie. But I could ask you the same thing about Send Help. You don't remember a lot of stuff about it.
It's so much different.
Bone Temple,
I
you don't remember a lot of stuff about it.
Bone Temple and with Send Help. I appreciate what you're trying to do with that
because it makes sense.
But at the same time, I guarantee you, as like a month after watching Star Wars 4 for the first time back in the 1970s, people were remembering Luke Skywalker. It's a casual name.
It was the first of
Not
its
casual,
kind, so
but,
absolutely.
I mean, it's a recognizable name.
Yeah, it's the first of its kind, so absolutely. And you have Dune competing with a lot of other
Han Solo,
science fiction movies.
Leia Organa, the Emperor.
I'd only
Darth Vader.
give you Luke, Leia, Skywalker. That's pretty easy.
Darth Vader. They couldn't remember the main antagonist of the movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of course they can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Moff Tarkin. They didn't.
No.
You don't think so?
No. That one's gonna be a nobody.
All right.
I think you remember Luke, Leia Skywalker. I think you remember
Leia
Darth
Organa.
Vader.
Leia Organa.
No.
Leia Organa.
Oh yeah. She didn't find out she was Skywalker till
6.
Oh yeah. So, dude. So you remember Leia?
Yeah, I think
You
the
remember
average person,
Anakin?
including myself.
And Han Solo, but the name Han Solo,
Luke.
that's just elite. The name Han Solo
It really
is elite.
Can we appreciate that just for a second?
the name
How
itself.
awesome is that? My name's Steele. My name's Axel. My name's Han Solo. I mean, those are badass names.
Yeah, it is. And Darth Vader. So, I mean, yeah, but I don't even want to sit here and shit on Star Wars because I love Star Wars. I watch all the movies, right? I watch the shows. I love it. I just don't understand. In order to elevate Star Wars, you have to push Dune down.
I don't have to elevate anything in regards to Star Wars. It deserves its pedestal. It's in everybody's, it's up there. Mm-hmm. Solidified. Their position is solidified. They don't need my help to elevate it.
And you don't think Dune is?
I think Dune is just. All right, there we go. We're hitched onto Star Wars. We're gonna follow their exact prompt and
you're gonna
get the same success.
Okay,
just add some paint.
No. Well, it came out long before Star Wars, so it didn't hitch on to anything. Star Wars hitched on, and that's the same reason why George Lucas would never pay homage to Frank Herbert before he died. They didn't like each other. They didn't like each other at all because one stole from the other one, never paid homage to it. But you'll sit there and ignore it, right? Because it's Dune.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Anyways,
It's not the same thing.
there's so much between these two franchises that are amazing and really good. You watch these movies and you walk away with your world blown, right? Same thing that I did with Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie. So I could walk away from Empire Strikes Back and just be amazed by what they were able to do at that time and the story that they gave you. Equally as I can with Dune. enjoying what they gave me and the story that they gave me. You were the only one that sees it a little bit differently, and I'm curious to see if any of the viewers see it the same way. And if they do think Dune is paint, why do you think Dune is paint?
Do you really like? Are you on my side? Do you feel like it is like the movie, the Dune 1 and Dune 2 are like 85% paint, fantastic music, fantastic visuals. All right, a couple of good acting scenes, great actors, star-studded. That aside, is the story? Does it connect with you?
So basically, what he's saying is the entire movie. Take away this, take away this, take away this, take away this, take away this. Oh, now is it good? It's like, okay, now.
Does it?
If I take away 75% of the movie, is the remaining 25% good?
What
it's
is that?
like,
No, that's not what I said. 75% of the movie. What is take away? Is 75? If anything, it just makes me even more right. Is 75% of the movie just music?
Well,
is 75% of the music just wide shots of a desert?
Well, technically, the 5 key elements of a film are narrative, cinematography, mise en scène, editing, and sound, right? So just say what comprises a movie, 20% is each of these, right? So narrative, you question the narrative of Dune, right? The story itself, you don't think is that good. Okay, but you say to remove cinematography, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, you say to remove mise en scène, right? Everything that's captured in the picture. Okay, you say to remove editing, right? That's everything that you've been talking about. You say to remove sound, right? So let's remove 80% of the movie and let's look at the 20%. This 20% is terrible.
Does it stand on its own? That's the bones?
So the 5 key components. So the 5 key elements of a movie. Let's remove the 4 of them and let's really judge the last one. That's ridiculous.
How many movies are absolutely fantastic on its story?
Are you talking about like recent or like
Ever. Books, stories, TV shows, movies, music.
So you're talking about something that
Art in general.
So you're saying from a movie standpoint, what's a story that was really good, but the cinematography was off, or you're saying the sound was off? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure there's plenty of classical movies that you would sit there and say are like that because cinematography, visuals, music, a lot of that doesn't compare to modern day stuff.
Well, cinematography isn't just visuals, right? Cinematography is the art of capturing that movie itself.
Yeah, like the Villanueva shot that we just talked about.
Yeah. So there's more to it than just cinematography. Just so everybody understands, cinematography. When you say, "Oh, this movie has amazing cinematography," it's not just visuals, visual effects. That is not just solely cinematography. Cinematography is the art of capturing that movie itself. That's why people say Lawrence of Arabia is like the greatest movie from a cinematography standpoint, because they had to go through so much depths in order to record that in a desert terrain. So they had to do so much just to be able to capture that, because the grain would destroy the cameras and it would scratch up the camera lenses. So that's why it's highly regarded as one of the best from a cinematography standpoint. But there's so much more to Dune than just visuals. You just think it's just visuals. But let me remove 80% of the elements, and the last 20%, let's really judge. Because that's like, what is that? Then you're removing every key component of that and just saying, hey, well, let's look at it this. And it's like, dude, it's not 20% of the movie. Well, let's look at 100% of the movie. Because if you're questioning 20% of the movie, 80% of the movie you think is really good. So... or I should say 80% of the elements of the movie you think is good. So 20% of the movie ruins the whole movie for you? That doesn't make sense.
Brother, I'm not like, I know that when you put it that way, it makes me sound like I'm dumb. Let me put it this way for you and for all the other viewers that are right here. Who is sitting here legit saying the Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 are fantastic? Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 have good visuals. They have good music. They have everything you just said right there. And yet the majority of people who watch Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 are going to sit here and say how awful it was. How terrible of a movie it was.
I think you say that because you are a diehard Star Wars fan.
I'm not alone. I'm not alone in that. That is a very common thing for a lot of people to say.
I've heard people say
you're on
7,
an
8, 9
island
is
if you
good.
sit here and say the 7, 8, and 9 is good.
There's multiple people that have said it's good. I'm not arguing it's good. But there are people that have said 7, 8, and 9 are good movies. I've heard you argue with people by them saying, "Oh, I liked it," and you're like, "How?" And I've heard you go back and forth with people.
Very few. There are very few people compared to all the fans of Star Wars. You're gonna find a chunk of people that are gonna sit here and say that 7, 8, and 9 are good, but it's very few compared to all the others.
To be fair, there's also, you have something else to compare it to. The original Star Wars series.
So you're saying that 7, 8, and 9 without 1 through 6 would have been a success?
Probably.
I doubt it.
Well, wait.
I doubt it.
Yeah, but you're going based off of the story that has already been given to you.
Exactly.
So if that story never existed, you would probably like 7, 8, 9 because you don't know what Star Wars should be. You know what I mean? Because Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, 3 laid the foundation of what is Star Wars. So once you got 7, 8, and 9, you're like, this isn't Star Wars because you already have an idea of what Star Wars should be. So 7, 8, and 9, if it was a standalone, probably would have done a lot better. That actually is true. That's not one of my arguments. That's our boy Don back there. That's not my argument. I'm not going to take credit for that. But I mean, yeah, that is true.
You're fired.
No way you did that on live TV. But yeah, that is true. I've heard people say Star Wars is good. I've gotten in arguments with people because I think the fight scenes are great. You don't think the fight scenes are that good? I think when Rey and I just mentioned him. I just mentioned him a minute ago.
Ben Solo.
Huh?
Ben Solo.
Kylo.
Okay.
Yeah, Kylo Ren.
Or Ben Solo.
When her and Kylo Ren are fighting Snoke's, the Red Guard. What is it called? The Red Guard.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, his whatever, his guards.
Yeah. In the throne room.
Not good.
And then, okay. Well,
Not good.
I
How
like
many
it.
times do people? It's a running joke right now that one of the
Turn the other way.
people ends up. I'm gonna stab you, but no, I'm gonna turn the other way.
Yeah, and then turn the other way.
It's the
No, I
same
know
thing
what
we
you're
get
talking
from Batman, Dark Knight Rises, where we have that one person who's over here trying to fight Batman and then slips on the ice or something like that. It's like,
No.
when was that?
I understand that, but what I'm trying to highlight is that there's some combative scenes that look cool in Star Wars. You argue that it looks good, right? So that's what I'm trying to highlight.
combative scene in any of 7, 8, 9, all 3 movies was good.
Dude, when he
All of them are
when
terrible
Kylo Ren put
compared
the
to 1 through
lightsaber
6.
when Kylo Ren put the lightsaber behind
No.
the back,
Not as
and
cool as
she
you think it is.
That was
Not
so
as cool as you
dope.
think it is.
You just hate it, and that's
No,
why
it's not as cool as you think it is.
that was dope. Have you seen Star Wars 7, 8, 9? Okay, well they're at completely different parts. In this, what is it, building, or they're in a
Temple.
in a temple. They're at completely different locations, and she doesn't have a weapon. He does, and what he does is he grabs the lightsaber, puts it behind his
Because
back,
they're connected.
and then she grabbed the lightsaber out of. That was so cool.
Lame.
Okay,
Lame.
but you are an avid Star Wars consumer.
Love Star
so
Wars.
for the other people that aren't as deeply,
Let's take them out of it. Let's break that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. I'd sit there and say that's lame.
okay, well.
If that
A lot
was,
of people thought it was cool.
Luke Skywalker and Leia, I'd be like, that's lame.
Okay, a lot of people thought it was cool. Sure, there's deep Star Wars fans that were like, this is terrible. I hate it. I hate the whole thing. But there's a lot of people that think it's good. On Rotten Tomatoes, a lot of them are in what, like the 90s? Aren't they?
You're claiming that they're just
No.
out of touch? That's your argument?
They're just what?
They're out of touch?
No. I'm just saying that it was well received by critics. So it's then it's understandable that
there's no way, there's no other reason that would be a thing, huh?
well,
We talk about that all the time. I don't think we've talked about it on camera, but we've certainly talked about it face to face. Like, what the heck? Rotten Tomatoes put it as
Oh,
this
no,
number,
I
and the people themselves said it was this awful. Like, what were they even thinking about?
No,
Like,
I
obviously they were paid off.
So my argument isn't, hey, the critics said it's good, it's really good. I'm just saying, you're saying nobody liked it, but it was well received by critics, so it means a good amount of people liked it. And I think the audience, I'm curious about the audience score, because the audience score is something that we talk about that is generally received by the public. So let me see. Force Awakens, I'm curious as to what it is from audience score. So audience score for The Force Awakens is an 84%. So would you say that movie is an 8.4?
I would say that it is a 0.4.
Okay, so clearly It's a what?
0.4.
Okay, that's no, that's ridiculous. Okay, now I'm curious for. I'm not gonna sit here and say I love these movies. I would not put them. Rise of Skywalker is an 86.
Rise of Skywalker is a 0.6.
What would you say is The Last Jedi?
Negative 400.
You think that's the worst one out of the
worst
sequels?
everything, yes.
91 is critics. Critics gave that 91%, and an audience score gave The Last Jedi. Ooh, the audience gave The Last Jedi 41%.
Oh, wait, what were you talking about before? Before Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi.
That's what I was saying was like the worst ever.
Oh, yeah.
Was
but
that-
audience agrees with you because 41%.
Yeah, okay.
Is what
Last
they gave The
Jedi
Last
is what I would
Jedi.
consider to be the worst. I apologize. I thought we were...
No. That's right on par with what the audience score says. But the other ones are 80. So it means the audience score, and there are 50,000 plus reviews. So that means the audience, it was received well by the audience. But the deep Star Wars
and
fans.
millions of fans out there. 50,000 people said it was good.
Oh, so now we're just gonna
Good ratio there, buddy. Good ratio.
You're gonna pull at stuff, and it's Star Wars. I
Pretty sure
get
there's
it.
billions.
I
There's
know you.
billions of fans out there, actually. It's all over every continent. But yeah, 50,000 people said it was good. Yeah, okay. That's good.
Okay, so now we're just gonna disregard things that we always talk about audience score just because.
It's like 5% of Americans deciding what all of America likes.
No, I'm just telling you, it's generally received well. If you see a movie that's 90% audience score, we usually say, oh, it's probably gonna be a good movie. Do we not?
Yeah.
Okay, so now it changes just because
Now
50,000
I'm more
people said
inclined
Star
to
Wars
watch
was
it,
good.
even though I've never seen it before. There's a whole conspiracy.
This conversation is gonna go on forever. He's a hater of Dune. He hates it because he thinks it's
just
trying
paint.
to be like Star Wars. It's just paint. But in reality, and this is factual, Dune came out first. So it's not Dune trying to be Star Wars. It's Star Wars exists because of Dune. So what do you think? Do you think Star Wars is so much better than Dune? Do you think Dune is just paint? Do you think visually it's a masterpiece? Other than that, it's crap. That's technically what Brandon thinks, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think. Thank you so much for continuing to subscribe, comment, like. We're grateful for everything that y'all do for us.
I will never understand your love for Dune. But obviously, when Dune 3 comes out, we'll definitely do a review.
I'm not
over it.
watching Dune 3 with. I'm not watching Dune 3 with
I want
you.
to sit right next to him and be like, ugh.
I don't want you to sit next
After
to me.
every scene that I dislike, oh, another villain wave a shot. Is this scene ever going to end?
Well, continue to comment, subscribe. Thank y'all so much, and we'll see you next week.